I think Michael came to the Post in 1988. Michael was with the Miami Herald, had just won the Pulitzer for the Crack House story. So, I mean, he was hot. Had his thumb on the pulse of that whole situation long before anybody else had really started paying attention to it. And it was a situation where we all wanted him to be here because we knew he would bring that kind of energy and that kind of excellence to the department.
He had the patience to wait for the moments, to really learn about a story. Michael went for difficult stories. He wanted to go photograph challenging stories, stories that were hard to tell, stories that were often dangerous to tell, stories that were important to tell.
So a lot of people know that Michael was a fabulous photographer, but what they might not realize is that he also was a terrific photo editor. He and Joe Elbert actually built most of the Washington Post photo staff that exists today. He was a great leader and a great mentor to young photographers. He always cared deeply about people who wanted to embrace this profession. He loved photography so much that he was always trying to inspire others to follow in his footsteps. And he'll be missed in the way he mentored so many of our young people.
I think he was a hero to a lot of people and an inspiration to a lot of people. I think that we'll see in this newsroom great photographers for many years to come. I think it's important to know that although the Washington Post is so famous for things like Watergate and famous for these outsized personalities like Ben Bradlee and Woodward and Bernstein and Kay Graham, that the photography staff here for decades has been absolutely phenomenal and still is. And he was one of the people who made that and created that staff as a photo editor and as a shooter himself.
I think he would want the world to remember him as a committed journalist, primarily. Not just a photojournalist and not just a word journalist, but somebody who dug into a story, was committed to the subject matter, that strove to connect with the people that he chose to photograph.
A few months ago, I had the job of calling Michael and asking him to come home from Liberia. His rotation was over. At that point, the disease was raging, and we were really worried about the safety of all of our folks. Michael, of course, did not want to come home. He was not at all worried about his own safety, and he really wanted to continue to pursue the story. No matter what I tried to get him to come home, he just kept arguing. And finally, the only way I could get him to agree to come back and take a little break was by agreeing to let him go back again. And by letting him go back again, he said, "Okay, fine, all right, as long as I can go back, I'll come home." And he did, and then he went again, and then came back, and then went a third time. As I spoke to him, it was quite clear in his voice that he saw this story as much more than a regular piece of journalism. He saw it as a calling almost, that it was his duty to let the world know about what was happening and the horrible things he was seeing and the horrible things he himself was experiencing, that he was willing to sacrifice himself and his own health to make sure that the world saw what was happening to these people who he had grown very, very fond of.
I really have to say that Michael was a great photographer, but for me, he was a greater human being. I loved him.